Everyone. I'm Ryan, I'm Mason, and I'm Ryan, and we're the Balloon Brothers. And today, what we built is this program called Beyond Words. And what we're trying to do is supersede Duolingo, kind of create a language learning app for a more mature audience and tailor the user's kind of experience with machine learning and machine, rating for their answers and kind of looking at their data to see what they're interested in and keep it really, something. And to make this interesting, and different from every other competition and other model out there, what we wanted to introduce was an idea of a card system. As you learn a language, you learn many different words.
Oh yeah.
The basics: I have, I did, I will. And the idea behind this is you get these words given to you at a certain level, but as you progress later on in a language, these cards will become less point values as
Mhm.
you become a better learner and more enhanced in the language. And the reason why we do this is to try to wean people off of their favorite, kind of lean in words, ich bin, ich habe. We're trying to really make users experiment with other words, such as, nouns. It can be as simple as apfel or even as complex as interessant, you know? We want to enhance the user's vocabulary as much as possible because nothing hurts learning a language more than repetition. You need to learn the In order to learn the language, you need these complex words in your vocabulary or it won't be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of this entire experience with cards is to gamify it, to make it more than just an experience, but also a way to have fun and
Mm-hmm.
with other people too. We also have implemented for the moment a social board where you can be shown with your friends and or people in your city, state, and fight for the best number one
Mm-hmm.
spot in all of your region
Mm-hmm.
by progress.
Yeah, and let's show you a little bit of the gameplay. So we have these, if you've heard of the game Clash Royale, we've kind of gamified it in a similar way, where you have this trophy road where you kind of go up this ladder of progression, where you have to kind of start from the bottom and go all the way to the top and try to get to the more complex objectives and finish them. And in this, the Meilersteine it has a bunch of scenarios or a bunch of topics like past tense and whatnot. And we have like family and friends, eating and drinking, and also very basic German sayings and phrases. And Ryan can talk about that.
Yeah, all levels built into the system are what you'd expect for an A1 learning German for the first time. So ideas such as willkommen, your first introduction to the language, those beginning words, who you are, ich bin Ryan, I'm Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
and you are, du bist Mason.
Yeah,
Simple stuff
hello.
such as that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've tried this, what we're trying right now is to implement a bubble system where you can just drag or drop or simply click an option to get a correct
Mm-hmm.
or false answer from the AI from a given prompt.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, we haven't really given it a prompt, but the idea is a willkommen. And the first word you should always learn in language is hello.
Hello.
Introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if we implement that, it says it's the correct answer.
Another sort of system we've kind of unlocked with our programming, I guess you'd say, is an image-based system that Duolingo kind of has for beginners. You look at an image and you can have or not only can you look at an image and kind of set this up in the system yourself, you can have an AI automatically, detect the card that it is and set up kind of these things for you to have. So you have automated lessons. And, this is a very simple one, of course, which one's the dog? Whoa. But yeah, it's a very rewarding and animated, logo you just saw there with the fantastic. And it will give you a little review sometimes if you have a specific prompt or input you have given it.
And moving on from the main idea and progression through the German language,
Mm-hmm.
we also have a battle system
Oh yeah.
where just like beforehand with Clash Royale, you climb up and up to get better
Oh
rewards
yeah.
and to become better at the language. Well, if you hit this button challenge, it will automate a response given to a certain
Mm-hmm.
subject that you like
Oh yeah.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, what it's saying right here is that you're in a park and you want to spend your time there
Mm-hmm.
with a friend.
what are you going to do?
Mhm.
So the AI's at from our deck of cards, we
Mhm.
have selected a cat, a house, to run, to walk, small, to fly, a butterfly, and something
Mhm.
that's interesting.
And if we use these words within our deck, we get extra points. And this kind of solidifies the vocabulary of a certain set of words in our brains and helps us memorize. And as we get used to them, we'll eventually wean you off them and, lower the points and try to get you to use other cards eventually. And yeah, Ryan, want to try a response here?
I'll do my best.
Being in Germany for a year should sure help.
I'm with friends in Germany. Ich würde gern
Mhm.
mit ein
Mhm.
Katze spielen.
Mhm.
And if we put that in, given what it's meant to judge my score off
Mhm.
of, which this is a pretty short answer to the question,
Mhm.
you wouldn't expect a good score from
Mhm.
such a long question. And given that I only use the word cat in my
Mhm.
sentence, I don't get all the extra points for my deck words. And as you can see, the grammar percentage and Satzbau, the sentence structure, are not the best
Mhm.
as to what it could be. And underneath that, it tells you what you did wrong and what you can do to make it better. Yeah.
And as you can see Deckvorta, which means we used a word from the deck, and I believe that one was Katze, which
Katze.
is mentioned in the description, which I can barely read. But yeah, that's one of the many components. We also have a gambling system to keep people engaged. Obviously, there are no microtransactions, but everyone likes a good loot crate or something. So just for beginning the ladder, you can unlock these crates. You have this system. You see this, you click it a few times, cool, it shakes, and you can click to reveal more items to level up your cards and get more value from them. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Gold, another loot box. Gotta love those. And then, oh my gosh, that was a lot of that.
And you can see that these different items can be used to upgrade cards
Mm-hmm.
for better enhancements.
Oh yeah.
Say more of an getting more points when using
Mm-hmm.
them in a sentence, which would obviously degrade over time
Mm-hmm.
once you use this card so
Yeah.
many times.
And to check how many cards you need, you could like click on the details and see what things are on here. So a cat is obviously a noun, katsa, and we do not have 5 cards to upgrade that, unfortunately.
And one really interesting thing about this is that, say you've taken a break, you've slacked off, or you just learn, you can hit this button in the top right to hear an AI say the word for you,
Mm-hmm.
just so you can recognize
Yeah.
what it is in the German language again.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have a little description
Mm-hmm.
of what the word means in the English language, and then an example of using the word in the German language.
Oh yeah.
This is an amazing way of trying to figure out what the word means, even with the picture.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes it can be hard to know how to use a word, even if you're
Mm-hmm.
given all the hints to know how to use
Oh
it.
yeah. Let me click on this. Boop.
Katze.
That's crazy revolutionary technology. But anyways, one thing that's very nice about all these thumbnails were obviously AI generated. And what we can do with this is automate the process, feed it a bunch of words in a JSON or have Gemini, pre-create these. And then we can have images associated with them, create through Imagen or some sort of other image batch creator. And we can have a huge word list. I mean, we could have the entire, German dictionary in here, and we'd probably need some sorting filters. But there's huge potential to expand, to make this a little pocketbook, for actually just using the German language in public or normally. And one more feature that we have to show you guys: the shop. So we have a currency system. I don't know if it was displayed over here. Oh yeah,
Yes.
gold's in the top right. Our camera is currently blocking it. But anyways, you have a certain amount of gold and gems that you get from battles, I guess. And you can lock more boxes because we love boxes. And then yeah, that's kind of the whole gist of the program. It's a gamified learning experience and really get users engaged, because that's what Duolingo kind of lacks. It's repetitive. It's like the same thing over and over again. We could get some change in here, and
Yeah, and it holds your hand.
oh yeah.
Once you get to a certain point in language learning, you cannot have your hands be held anymore.
Oh yeah.
Because that will take away from the experience so much. You need these experiences with long response questions graded by AI because you're not going to always have teachers by your side to grade your work for you.
Oh yeah.
So having this ability to have long response questions and have critics for how you build your sentence, the grammar of your sentence, and using special words that you wouldn't use on a normal basis.
Oh yeah.
Is just an amazing way to implement strong language learning for learners in the future.
And that was all we had to show you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later.
See ya.